Welcome to WorldCraft Logistics TV. My name is Jimmy Tran, owner and CEO of WorldCraft Logistics. So we have been helping clients for the last 16 years. I'm here to share with you how to do transportation or how to purchase product from China and how to understand the different trade terms when you talk to your supplier in China, Vietnam, Thailand, Europe, whichever country you decide to do business with, right? So that's quite a bit of trade term. There's over 8 different trade terms. However, internationally, only 4 trade terms are mainly used. Number 1, EXW. Number 2, FOB. Number 3, DDU. And then finally, DDP. So let's go over all this trade term. What does it all mean, right? So first trade term is EXW. EXW means that you are going to buy your product, for example, 1,000 soccer ball from your supplier, let's just say in China, and you are handling all the transportation. So for example, if your buyer is going to manufacture 1,000 soccer ball for you, once the manufacturing of the 1,000 soccer ball is completed, you as the buyer are responsible to do all the transportation, picking it up from the factory level, shipping it by truck to the closest seaport or airport, air it in, or do ocean transport to destination port, which is, for example, if this shipment is going to the US, you are responsible for custom clearance and you are responsible for the transportation from the port or the airport to your warehouse, to your e-commerce store or Amazon FBA store. You are responsible for everything as a buyer under e-export term. Now let's talk about number 2. Number 2 is FOB trade term, freight on board. Freight on board defined as the seller or the manufacturer going to manufacture 1,000 soccer ball for you. Their job is to hire a trucking company or using their trucking company to take the shipment from their warehouse to the closest seaport, to the closest airport, and then after that, you as a seller are responsible for the transportation, air or sea, to the US or to Canada, for example. Anyway, to the US, do the custom clearance in the US, do the trucking, and then deliver it to your store, e-commerce store, or Amazon FBA, or to your storage facility, right? And then number 3 on the list is going to be DDU, destination delivery duty unpaid, right? Pretty much short term is the seller is going to do all the transportation for you all the way to from the factory level to the port, ocean or air, and then custom clearance for you, and finally to your door. The only difference with this is that once they deliver to your door, you are door or warehouse or e-commerce store, you are responsible as a seller to pay for duty, which is the import tax, right? So for that, it's pretty plain and simple. They'll do everything for you, except when it hit that point, you will have to care of the import tax. And then finally, this one is very easy for the seller. Very easy for the buyer. It's very complicated for the seller. A lot of the seller, they avoid this unless they're doing something. Unless they're doing something very odd and fishy. But usually a lot of importer from the US, they try to avoid the DDP. Like if the company's been around for a while, or the company is gonna want to be in business for a while, you want to avoid DDP, and also the seller over there in China, it's also going to avoid DDP. So number 4 on the list is going to be DDP, delivery destination duty pay, pretty much, right? So what is it? So now the seller or the manufacturer has finished manufacturing the 1,000 soccer ball for you. So they're gonna do all the transportation for you, from the trucking in China to the air shipment to the sea shipment or whatever you decide, and finally delivered to your door, and they also gonna pay import tax for you. So you just sit there, relax, they manufacture for you, they also do delivery for you. Think of it as free delivery with the purchase of the 1,000 soccer ball. That's pretty much what it is. Hi, can I buy the 1,000 soccer ball from you under free transportation, free delivery, right? Defined as, can I buy the 1,000 soccer ball for you under DDP trade term? So that's what it is. It's very simple. So what is the complication with DDP? From my experience, what is wrong with it? Number one, who is paying for the import tax? The seller, the manufacturer is going to pay for the import tax. I would say 70–80% of the time, I have seen factories in overseas, specifically overseas, cut the invoice or reduce the invoice so that less tax is paid here when the shipment get imported in. What is the consequence of that? There is no consequences for the seller overseas or the manufacturer. All the consequences fall under you as the importer, because US Customs keep import record for your company up to 5 years. And if they decide to audit you, like they audit tax and everything else here in the US, and they decide to audit you, they will go back up to 5 years to audit your company. So for example, if you import it in, those soccer balls should be costing like $5, but China or whatever manufacturer over there decide to, declare it at $1.50. Number one, the shipment could be held. If the shipment is held and it got caught, then you, the importer of record, is responsible. If the shipment get through and it get through for years and it finally got caught, because they might not even use the right HS code. HS code is the code to clear custom. For example, I have case where client were importing first aid kit into the US under DDP term, but overseas, China were declaring as plastic bag coming into the US. So when they finally do it the right way, they couldn't clear it, is because all this time the shipment was clearing under a different code. So this is why, big companies like Walmart, Target, or the big players in the e-commerce or Amazon FBA, they always want to buy under FOB, because they want to control the paperwork and they want to know what's getting brought in. All right, anyway, to make it short, DDP has its advantages, but the biggest advantage is that you don't control the invoice. And at the end of the day, after 5 years or within that 5 years, you're responsible for it. And then also the seller, the manufacturer in China, also don't like to do DDP. Why? Because once the shipment comes into the US, there's a possibility US Customs do random search. Just like you go to the airport and you get your luggage randomly searched, right? If there is a search for import shipment, the importer or whoever that's responsible for it has to pay like a import search fee, X-ray exam, and the seller over there, they just don't want that liability of like, oh, there's a possibility of an extra fee I have to pay for. Well, I estimate the shipment is going to cost $1,000. Well, now there's an exam on it. It might cost another $200–300. So this is the reason why the seller overseas also don't like to do DDP. So now you understand the 4 trade terms that's very important to do international trade. My next video is going to be about the transportation. There's different methods of transportation that a freight forwarder could provide. So if you need freight forwarding service, please let us know. We've been doing this for the last 16 years. I have been helping sellers, importers, and exporters with their shipment for the last 16 years of my life. And my contact information is below. Thank you very much for watching.